Hello, everybody. This is Gino Johnson, CEO of Champions for Veterans, and I am so excited to have our today's American hero on our Convos with Heroes podcast. So thank you so much for listening and watching on YouTube. But of course, before we get into getting to know a little bit more about Jacob, let's go ahead and say hey to my dad. Hey, Dad, how you doing?
All right, son, I'm great. Hey, we got an incredible American hero, Jacob, on the call today. He already got me juiced up before we started recording. So I'm going to shut it down so we can get to him in a little bit.
Awesome. Me too. Me too. Well, look, let me go ahead and tell our listeners a little bit about Jacob before we get into the Convos to Heroes discussion. So a little bit about Jacob. So he's a proud 20-year veteran of the U.S. Navy. He served as an Operations Specialist or OS1 SW. He's married to his wife, Macky, for 22 years and grateful for all her support, and parents of 4 blessed children, 1 18, 14, 12, and 6. Wow, 4 kids. That's awesome. And they live in Fredericksburg, Virginia. He worked as a defense contractor with 17 years plus of BMD and IAMD experience and 8+ years in advanced systems engineer and analyst development, fielding, and integration. With an extensive track record of successful optimizing operational performance and capabilities for multiple combat systems in the U.S. Navy, he's able to coordinate, conduct moderately complex system analysis, do data acquisition and modeling, identify, coordinate, document, and implement business requirements by determining solutions that enhance business systems, as well as provider support to business operations and processes under general supervision. You're a smart man. That was a lot right there. Let me go ahead and keep going. But no, Jacob is skilled in delivering key analytical insights and collaborating with members across all organizational levels to drive unified approaches to achieve objectives, excel at developing, supporting, and leading high-level training programs for both internal and external stakeholders to achieve operational excellence and increase personnel competency. He's demonstrated skill leading, training, and optimizing the performance of cross-functional teams that exceed expectations. He's also multilingual, fluent in English and Spanish. So I guess you guys can have a little bit of a Spanish conversation here if you want to. But a little bit more. He's been a professional photographer for 12 years and owns jointly with his wife, Jack and Mac Photography. Recently started a new financial coaching company, www.myfinancialcompass.org, helping transitioning military and college graduating individuals and getting married couples on how to better manage their financial future. Wow, that's needed. He's an intuitive leader, inspiring high productivity levels, guiding cross-functional teams, coaching, motivating with strong interpersonal communication skills, and proactively conveying operational needs to executive level management. We have a really impressive guy on the call with us today. Jacob, how you doing, sir? Tell us about who Jacob is.
All right, man. And thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity here to come and be in your program. Never expected this to happen, so it's a big blessing from me, and I hope that I can return that service to all the listeners out there. I'm here to provide not just pictures that speak louder than words, but also guide everybody on a better direction with their finances with my financial compass. About me, like I said, love my Navy. You can say I started my drive for the Navy back when I was born in 1971. Right there, I was born in Philadelphia, but my dad was in the Venezuelan Navy, and he came over to the States on a shipyard. His ship was going to get repaired here in the States. And on a trip to DC, he met my mom's uncle on a trip there, and he took him to Philadelphia, and they met there. And now they've been 54 years married, 3 grandkids and everything, and 3 kids and 12 grandkids. So like big time blessing from there, you know. Unfortunately, my uncle passed away yesterday, so it's, you know, I'll keep him in prayer and everything. We just want to, and I'm just so grateful because without him, I would not be here. So it's an awesome thing to remember and give him up. As well, like I said, my dad was in the Venezuelan Navy. He came over, met my mom, went back to Venezuela, got out of the Navy, came over, got married here, and I was born, my brother was born, and we left to Venezuela. Down in South America, and lived there until I was 12 years old when we came back here to the States. Grateful to have lived in South America, because like I would not have known what it is Spanish to be and the culture and the people and everything. Now I understand what it is to have the freedom that we have here, because I lived in a place, which was similar, and now that place is lost everything that what it's once stood for, So that's something that we all need to keep in contact, because we're in similar waters, and then we pray that we got this. We got to get our country back from where the path is heading on today. I joined the Navy back in 1990, inspired by my dad, hoping that one day I will catch the love of my life in a port out there, just like he did, and everything turned out to be. God brought him right into the house of my parents. 5 years later, we met in my own house right there. My mom was a bank teller, and my wife's family came over to meet to open up an account at the bank. And when they found out they were from Venezuela, hey, come on over. And that's how our life, our friendship began right there.
Wow, wow, wow.
5 years later, we got married, through a lot of transitions and everything. Don't want to go into a lot of details and everything, but hey, we're not here. We're here for a lot more. But it's a beautiful story, and I love it all the time. And joined 1990, got out in 94. Then there wasn't work. Things didn't work out when I got out the first time in the Navy. And 2 years later, I was walking off to Philadelphia out of the subway, still had no job. Was going to college, no job right there. And I said, when I walk out, I saw a whole bunch of people laying on the streets and everything. And I saw them as like, hey, if I don't do something, I'm gonna wind up being like that. When I looked around, I saw the Navy recruiting station right there across the street, and I say, I'm going back in, and went there. Next week, I was back on uniform.
Wow. So look, the next week, so you got out. How many years did you do before you got out?
I did 4 years.
So you did 4. You get, because this is fascinating. You get out and you see this stuff going on. And you say, you know what? I had it better in than out. So you walk back to the Navy recruiter, and the next week you were back in uniform?
Yeah. Well, no, it's actually next month, the following month, because obviously you got to delay the program, all that stuff and everything. So I went over there and I told him, hey, I need to get back in. And it was crazy, if I tell you.
Wow.
So they got me back in, got me in the same rank as I got out, E5, made E6 2 years later and everything. And from there on, just been there until I finished my 20s.
So when you got back in, did you see some of the same people that you had worked with before? Were you in the same job or a whole different job when you got back in?
Oh, I had to go back in as an OS. I
don't know what that is. You got to explain. I'm Army. I don't know what that is. And we got civilians watching this.
As an operations specialist, I was a raid operator. I worked inside the Combat Information Center, just like in Star Trek, sitting in there in the bridge and watching this in the Combat Information Center there, watching all the radars, launching missiles, and everything. Did all from the first Gulf War all the way up to past 9/11, Enduring Freedom, and everything. Fired about 86 Tomahawks throughout the career. And
wow. Wow. So let's fast forward a little bit, man, because I'm pretty fascinated. One, I'm fascinated about your story because I was in the 7th Special Forces group, Special Forces. So español también se idioma. Yo hablo mucho español porque yo tengo mucho tiempo en Panama, Bolivia, Honduras. That means segundo idioma. I speak fluent Spanish as my second language. I've been speaking it for about 30 years. So so there's people that don't speak Spanish, right? See this big black guy speaking Spanish, like, wait a minute, man. But got a lot of time in South and Central America, man. Never went to Venezuela, Honduras, of course, Central and Bolivia, Uruguay, places like that. So when you talk about the story of Venezuela, I understand. I'm one of the people that do understand the changes in Venezuela and what it was, 30 years ago to what it is now. So I understand that it's not the same country that it used to be, when I was coming up. So talk about this, man. Talk about the influence of freedom and understanding, what you got now. And then we're going to jump from your time getting out of the military. Talk about that, man, from Venezuela to the United States. How did it feel?
Well, back then, we came back in '84.
Yeah.
And over there, when you looked at the economy of the Venezuelan before we came in, $1 was two and a half bolivares, which is the other currency back then of Venezuela. It's 2.5. Then a year, it went up to 4, it went up to 7, and went up to 9. When it hit the 9 mark, my dad said, "Hey, things are not looking pretty good or anything like that. Let's go back to the States." And he decided he took me and my brother first. My mom was pregnant and still with my sister back in Venezuela and everything. 6 months later, we found a place here in the U.S. We stayed for our families over here for a few years, and then until we were to get ourselves situated. And
Right.
like I said, and every immigrant has an awesome opportunity to come over here, and that's why we love coming. That's the hope.
Yeah.
We always seek for opportunity and freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. So fast forward, you end up getting out of, you retired. You did 20 years. So
Yep.
you're like me, you're a lifer, right? You're a lifer. You did 20 and then
Yep.
you retired, right? What year did you retire? And talk about what you did right after you got out.
Well, I retired back in October of 2012.
Okay.
You know, I was retired my captain from USS Monterey. Did my retirement ceremony on the USS Wisconsin over in Norfolk, and beautiful ceremony, awesome speech there. And the next day, I took 2 hours already putting up applications for jobs 9 months early because I knew I had to have something. So I retired on Friday. On Monday, I was in the job working over it.
Man, let's go back to that retirement ceremony, because I remember my retirement ceremony. I had my grandmother there, had my mom, family members came all the way up from Texas to North Carolina. Is your dad still living? And
Yeah,
mom?
yeah. My parents, all my family was there. My parents.
How was that, man? How was your dad feeling, brother?
They're all very excited and everything. I mean, they could not have been happier to be there. My wife was like totally loving it and everything. So best part is, it's a journey, and it's more for her because hey, that journey it didn't end technically, but that part of it, going out there and all the time, ended. She accomplished her mission, and now we're both happy, and here we are bearing the fruits of that hard sacrifice that she gave in doing
Yeah.
that. So,
Yeah. So you get out, and then you have an idea you want to go work for a governmental organization, or talk us through that piece.
Well, in my 20 years of service, I try to become a subject matter expert in my line of field. I remember all the leadership will seek me out whenever it came back to tactics, operational developments, and all that stuff. That's why I was specializing in anti-air, ballistic missile defense. I mean, anything that came out new, I try to learn it and everything. So try to use that to make my resume. Because I knew if I wanted something good, you got to put it on paper and put it right there. And that's how I did it, and became an exercise developer on my first job when I got out, earning about $65,000. That's the same one as an E6 right there. I had an associate's degree at that time from Tidewater Community College. And then from there, I started working for Future Technology Incorporated as an exercise developer up in Dahlgren. My first 8 years, I worked over there in Dahlgren, helping up, been in almost every single command.
Wow. So you were basically, and again, being non-Navy, so you got to break this down while I understand it. Were you working on a naval base, or you just working for a defense contractor, or how was that?
Been always working as a defense contractor on the naval bases. I realized, one thing I try to tell people a lot of the times, especially transferring retirees, or in people who are separating, that hey, focus on your strengths. If you look for your strengths on what you do, that's how you're going to get better your chances of opportunity on your job market, whatever you want to do. A lot of veterans, a lot of retiring and getting out. Military don't plan out, and they just put in a simple job. No, you want to focus on your key expertise. That way, you increase your chances of getting not just a better job, better salary, better opportunities right there.
Now, I know you were doing good. You were working, and then, you don't have to get into it, but I know something happened you know, with the relationship and stuff on that job. And we were talking about it before we started recording, and you decided it was time to leave and do something else. But you made a statement, man, about a job and some stuff. So talk about you leaving that and jumping into what you're doing now, but go over that piece mentally and psychologically and what you were thinking at that particular time.
Well, if you go into my LinkedIn account, you'll be able to see all of my time job right there, and you'll be able to see, hey, almost every 2 years I was changing jobs, and you'll say, well, hey, this guy's not staying on a different position, but no, every time I got a degree, I went from my associates to my bachelor's, switched jobs, got $20,000 more, got my master's degree, went up and one more, finally landed in the Missile Defense Agency. Dream job. I was there almost 2 years right there, here working on the best thing I could possibly work. I mean, who would ever expect I'd be doing such a thing, you know, coming from my background and all that. And I was totally excited until August 22nd, you know, had some confrontation with my leadership and my contractor manager. And hey, he just did not like me. I was getting too much involved with what I was doing into his line of work, and for some reason we just got terminated there. When I got terminated, you know, even though I didn't do anything wrong, I was like, hey, I kept on. I was out for 6 months trying to look for something right there. Fortunately enough, Jack and Mac Photography had been running for long, and I did more income in that time than I did on.
Wow. Now give a website. You got a photography company. I know you and your wife do that. Is there a website or somewhere they can contact you in that area if they need something? What is that for your photography company?
www.jacn, as in November, macphotography.com, jackandmacphotography.com. You can Facebook me, Instagram me. You can check the website everywhere on all social media platforms. And right there, we provide photography, wedding photography, as well as event photography, photo booth services as well. We got an awesome photo booth, only one of 3 in the States right here. So love it. And,
yeah.
and everything.
That's great, man. Wow. Wow. I'm amazed. So when you left your job in that 6-month time period, your mind was, I'm looking for another job, but you already had this kind of thing that you were doing on the side, and you just jumped into that, and it just started really going, huh?
I focused up right there. I had just finished reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad at that time. And man, that was a smack in the face for me. I was like, what? No, I cannot depend. If I want to retire, if I want to have an independent future, when I retire, not work from when I get off, then I need to be able to find something that gives me passive income, that gives me an independent financial independence from being on a job. Because when you retire, when you really reach that retirement time, you don't want to work. You can work on a job. You don't want to work for survival. You want to work because you want to and serve in your community and be out there and do what you want, not what someone else wants. And that's the key.
Yeah.
That's
Robert Kiyosaki, baby, Rich Dad. Me and my son, we know all. Hey, we're into that kind of stuff, baby. That's what we're about. So you read that, and your mind started to change. Look at, he probably got the book right in front of him.
Oh man, I got it all right there, and I started reading up on more. I got his second book, Cash Flow Quadrant, and I was like reading all 4 quadrants. And hey, we gotta. There you go, baby. That's it. That's it.
Look.
That's it.
Look, Jacob, I literally just finished reading this book because I thought it was interesting. I listened to Rich Dad Poor Dad, Retire Young, Retire Rich. And I didn't realize that Robert Kiyosaki, he served in Vietnam. He actually was a Marine. He served a few years in the Marines, and he wrote this book, I don't know when, I think a few years ago, 8 Lessons in Military Leadership for Entrepreneurs.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna look for that one myself in there and everything.
Yeah,
and,
it's good. It's good.
Like I said, I started there and didn't know, obviously it's not going to take, it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of effort. I started up my financial compass at that time and everything. I started learning more about, hey, I was doing the Navy. I was also a financial counselor in the Navy. You know, as a extra curriculum right there. So I will counsel the sailors and all that.
See, hold on a minute. Let's stop, put a pin in that for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I know you're in the Navy and you said you're a financial counselor. I know they got all kind of counselors. You mean there's a job or maybe an extra position that you do that the Navy, and you kind of counsel sailors on their finance?
Yep, they send you out to school for about 2 weeks to how to and everything. And it's, like I said, one of the best things the Navy did for me. And I really didn't take advantage of it. And while I was there, it's just, you know how you are. You're always in that mentality, get to do the extracurricular stuff and everything. But now when I got out and I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I'm like, man, I got to put that stuff to use right there. And I got a master's degree in business administration. You got to put all your tools to work for you. You know, God's giving you all these talents, giving you all these opportunities. You got to take advantage of it.
Wow.
Right
wow.
there.
So so the photography's going good, and then you say, okay, wait a minute now. I know about this financial stuff. I'm reading about it. What made you believe you could see? It's one thing to know and do. It's another thing to start a business and start charging people and say you can help them. What made you believe you could jump to that? Because that's different.
Well, when I see others that are doing it, like I said, as I started reading, I started associating with winners. First of all, and you're looking for people who are you are looking people who are being successful. And if they can do it, why can't I? I just gotta follow the law. If you start going out there trying to invent the wheel yourself, trust me, you're gonna fall right in your face constantly. Hopefully you fall forward because you want to be able to get up. You don't want to fall backward. You know, be able to get up. But you gotta learn from what others being successful. And you get that association, you start learning, you start getting yourself and learn from them and just apply it. And I've been doing that. You just got to find a platform. You got to find the type of business that you want to achieve it. I found it. Now I'm working on getting my certifications I got my certifications for life insurance and annuities. Now I'm working on my certifications for investments and Series 6, Series 63, Series 7. Hey, the more I can help, and once I get all that stuff, you got right there. You start open, you get the passive income coming to helping others manage their income and all that stuff. Because you got to get your household, your budgets and everything in place, and then you start looking for your investments. But you got to make that money grow. You know? So
let me ask you a couple more questions, because this is fascinating to me. You know, my son and I always talk about, you know, what we do with Champions for Veterans, helping vets get the VA benefits they deserve. And we have so many great stories about people we've helped. I'm talking about go from 0 to 100 or 90 to 100 or whatever it may be, life changing. Matter of fact, we had a vet that said he got to 100% and his kids are in Texas, and now they get $1,200 per month from the VA to go to college, right? Because he's 100%. So you don't have, please don't give a name, but can you give some instances in either one of your businesses where you really brought value to a customer and helped them in some kind of way, and they came back to you with a testimony? Anything you want to share?
Well, at least my photography side right there, you look at, I try to give it my best that I can to my customers whenever I do. And you can look at my reviews. The reviews all speak for themselves. 5-star. I don't even think I do as much. I'm good as the other photographers out there in the market and everything. But when I look at that, that's what people say about how we do and everything. That's got to say something. That means a lot more than any pay that they give me. And that's why I start there and everything.
Wow.
You know, you gotta do it. It's about service. You know, you give, you get.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the way. That's my mentality. That's the way I like it and everything. And then hopefully it'll take us out there to the future.
Yes, sir.
You want to be an example for your kids. Hopefully your kids take those things as an example and everything. And that's what we're working for. So if there's a place for fatherhood, that's the one I need.
Man, you know, I think that's incredible. You know, growing up, my dad for most of my life, he's been an entrepreneur. Of course, he retired in 2000, back when I was 12, and so I've seen him as an entrepreneur, and I think that's just an inspiring thing for a kid, because you know what it did for me, it helped me believe that I can go be an entrepreneur myself, and that was always in the back of my mind. He actually had us out there. He had me out there cutting grass, or he was like, it was just funny when I was in high school. He said, I said I wanted to go get a job because I just wanted to make some money. I can't tell you what was going on through my head back then, but I said, I want to go and I'll work in food service, go work at a fast food place. And he said, why do you want to go and work at, some restaurant, fast food or something, when you can go and start a business? And I didn't understand that, but he actually went and purchased a lawnmower for me, and I had to pay him back, but I used that to cut grass in the neighborhood. I paid him back, so basically gave me a short-term loan and was able to turn it into,
no interest.
yeah, interest-free loan. It's hard. It's pretty hard to get that anywhere else, but thankfully he's my dad. But yeah, it was cool because I was able to make a good amount of money and buy a bunch of video games, which it probably would have been better if I would have invested that or saved that. So it's neither here nor there. I got to go in. I should have invested in Google or something. I got to go talk to myself. But anyway, no, but I think it's really cool what you're doing, just inspiring your kids. Like, how long have you been an entrepreneur? What are some of the things you're learning, just or advice you would give to just a young entrepreneur who's trying to do the same thing you did?
Just it all starts with a dream. And I tell both if you're transferring military couples that are just getting married and getting ready to get married, or already been there and redoing it, and I tell them, hey, you got to get a dream. You got to know first, find out your financial independence number. If you don't know that, then you're messed up. I don't know if you know what a financial independence number is. Well, if you don't have that,
explain it to the people that don't know.
Okay, well, financial independence number is that's the money you need to have in your bank in order to retire and not to depend on a job or work for survival. If you don't know that number, then forget it. You will not have the retire you want. You'll be working in a job, constantly trying to get to survive and pass on. Now it's going to be a large number. Don't get all scared up and all this stuff. What matters is the amount it is. Now you got to figure out how to get that money and all that stuff. And you cannot depend on one single source to make it. You gotta find other sources. You gotta find the venues. You're in the land of opportunity. Take advantage of it. You're not in Venezuela. You're not in all those other countries and everything where they don't have these opportunities. Hey, you're in mighty USA. Take advantage of it now.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of Facebook, instead of spending your time on your cell phone doing Instagram and looking at yourself or all this, hey, get off and make money for yourself, for your family, and for your future.
Wow.
You sound like a fire lifestyle fan. Are you into the fire stuff?
I'm trust me. That's what I want to drive through people, that stuff. If I go away, that's the legacy that I want to leave behind to those idiots.
Yeah. And people feel your passion, man. I mean, the great thing about it, like you, I've had an opportunity to live overseas and go to many different countries. And I operated mainly in South and Central America, but I was in Germany for a couple of years and, did that, been to Jordan and Spain and all those places too. But one thing I tell folks all the time, in America, see, I have everything that the richest person in this country has. I do. The one with the billions, I got the same thing he does. Was it Bill Gates got a cell phone? I got a cell phone. Bill Gates can get on a plane. Guess what? I can get on a plane. It may not be fly first class, but I can get on a plane and fly somewhere. He can go on a vacation. I can go on a vacation. I can do everything Bill Gates can do, guaranteed. But what I can't, in a third world country, the richest person in the country and the poorest person can't do the same thing. It's not even close, right? And I think people like yourself, when you've been in both places, you see it differently. You say, wait a minute, people are complaining about this. No. I can get out here and I know if I put it down, this is going to change my family's life and change my family's future, and I'm going to go differently. Is that part of your thinking too, man? It drives you to say, wait a minute, man, I got to go get it.
No, it's more than that, because having gone to those countries, being in the Navy, got to travel almost 60% of the planet, all the stuff to so many countries and so many people and so many cultures. Having been raised in Venezuela, that's part of me knowing people and all that stuff. And it's
Right.
like to see their desire to try to get ahead and all that stuff, because they're just as hungry as we are over here. They just don't have the even money. Some may have the education, they just don't have the tools. They don't know where to get the tools. And obviously the governments and the education system hides that stuff away from people because they don't want them to reach. Same thing over here. People be scared. If you don't realize it now, they're trying to eliminate all those venues for us. So if you don't take charge now, it's all going to be gone sooner than you think. So
I can remember serving, you know, in special forces with a lot of guys that were maybe first. Their dad was first. They were second generation. Their dad came from, you know, Colombia or Bolivia. I served with some Bolivians, and I can remember one of my team sergeants was Bolivian national, and we actually went to his country and in special forces. And he used to make a statement: "I got the work ethic, but my kids are Americans." he would say, you know what? I got the Boliviano, you know, mentality and immigrant mentality, and got to go get it. But my kids are Americans. He says, I have to, you know, it's different with them because they come up with all this stuff that I didn't have. And when we would go to Bolivia and we go to La Paz and Santa Cruz, and I've gone all around the country of Bolivia, and we see the things that they did not have. And he would say, see, this is where I came up. So my mentality is different. How do you look? Because see, your kids are, quote, Americans, right? You came up from Venezuela, right?
It's such a huge difference. That's sometimes I like, did I make a mistake? Sometimes I question myself. Did I make a mistake in having raised them over here? Because then, you know, you got to get that culture and know and appreciate. Look at everything you got. They don't have this stuff right here, you know, and you got to work for it. It takes work. It takes passion and all that stuff to get there. You know, and that's you gotta live that. And unless you live through it, you're just not gonna appreciate it. And that's what, like you did. You got to make sure he works for it and they work for it. Because if you give it to them, it's all.
Well, you know, it's funny, you know, bringing it up because you're right. You know, I retired in 2000, and my kids, you know, for the majority of their lives, they saw me as an entrepreneur. And my son telling that story, well, I think, and I believe he gonna make a correction on me. I think that summer he made out of $1,300 or $1,600 cutting grass in our neighborhood. And because he made so much money, I said, now, had you went and worked, you know, a fast food restaurant making $5 an hour back then, I said, you wouldn't have had nothing, right? So it was, and he did. The lawnmower was $200-300. He paid me back every penny. It was interest free, but he did pay it back. And I told him, I said, I'm going to get this, but you know, I'm not giving you this lawnmower. You're going to pay me back, right? Because what I tell kids all the time, you know, I don't want to create cripples. And I see you do the same thing. If I just give you everything, you know, and this, I mean, talk about this mentality, man. We've got to start wrapping up here in a couple of minutes, but I don't want my kids to suffer for anything because, I had it so hard. See, I don't look at it like that. That's not me, you know. I want you to get your butt up, go learn how to work, cut the grass, wash your car, empty the trash. No, I'm not doing that for you. Because that, I'm going to get real country. That ain't my job to make your bed up in the morning. Right? Right? So
100% right.
How do you go about that, man? Because, you know, your father was successful. You're successful. Now you got these kids, these poor kids. How do you do that? And yeah, you want to give them stuff, but not make them cripples. What's your philosophy on
that? I'm learning that myself and everything. Because we make a lot of transitions. This is a new generation. Have you ever heard of Darren Hardy's? He's the author of The Compound Effect. Check him out. He's Darren Hardy, The Compound Effect, and he started the Hero's Journey. And I've taken the Hero's Journey last year and redoing it this year. And I realized, especially first lesson he goes through is going through the difference in each generation. And unless we establish ourselves and learn how each generation, because we're in the first time in human history where you have 5 generations working in the same work environment. So how do you get Gen X like me to work with a Gen Zer who's born in this and never got transitions and all those things back in what we went through and everything in our life and how our parents raised us. So it's totally different. In this generation, you got your baby boomers had to go through that big war mentality. 20th century thinking is out the past. Now we're in 21st century mentality. Now we really got to change the way we think. We have to bring our wisdom from our past and our experience and put it on a different perspective that this new generation can understand, because there are forces out there right now that are trying to keep them all stuck up in the screen all the time. And then they want to see the reality of the life. They're always just going to be with their head down. Then they're going to get to miss out, and they're not going to know how to survive in the future.
Wow.
So we got to get ourselves ready.
Wow. I'm going to say this and let my son ask you one of the last questions, but you just brought up something so valuable, because, we wouldn't be talking to you right now had it not been for my son. And, I got a great work ethic. I'm old school, but all this technology stuff, I'm not a part of. The social media, I'm not a part of. Now we got a business. He runs all that kind of stuff. But, my son, runs out all that for us. But with my wisdom on how to get VA benefits and help veterans, and his knowledge on all the, that's why he's the CEO, because he's got 99% of his business he runs, right?
There you go. That's awesome.
And that's cool with me. That is so cool with me, because I don't want to do what he does. I have no desire, zero, none. Okay. But the great thing, he does it, man. So it's fascinating. You're teaching your kids some of the same things. And man, it's been a great conversation, Jacob. Man, I mean, I feel like we can go 10 hours, but I want my son to ask you a couple of questions as we get ready to wrap up.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Jacob, sir. Yeah, it's been really good hearing your story and just really seeing that. From what I've heard, you've been, you came to the U.S. as an immigrant, and you really had that work ethic, and you built some great things, and you're doing some awesome stuff with, your financial company, your photography company. Can you go ahead and just tell everybody about that again, the website, and how to get in touch with you with those again?
Okay, well, if for financial counseling, we help out through anybody, no matter the state and everything. If you want to get yourself your personal finances, or even start your own business and everything, we're here to help out. That's what my financial compass is, to guide and everything. And it's myfinancialcompass.org right there. It's available. Give me a call. Let me know. Send me your contact information, and we'll reach out to you to get you going. My photography, we cover the entire East Coast here inside of Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware, Eastern Pennsylvania, and North Carolina. We don't charge by the hour. We don't charge by the number of pictures that we take. All we want to do is provide pictures that speak louder than words for our couples in our events and everything. And like I said, we just here to serve.
Awesome. Pictures that speak louder than words. I love that.
I'm writing that down, son. I'm writing that down. That's cold-blooded right there.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Man, well, Jacob, with Convos with Heroes, one of the things that the reasons why we have this, why we call it Convos with Heroes, is because we definitely believe that veterans, you're American heroes, and I think one reason that of many that veterans are American heroes is because you chose to serve, and I definitely am a strong believer that the greatest among us are the ones who serve all, right? And veterans serve an entire country of people by laying down your lives and doing amazing things. And so just as a vet, just who you are, your life, and just everything you got going on. The last question we always love to ask is, when everything's said and done, what do you want to be remembered for? What legacy do you want to leave on this earth when you're gone, sir? So tell us the answer to that question for us.
And that's what I want. And my answer is choices. Your choices will always dictate what you have in your life, the outcome in your life. And how do you want to make better choices? By the inputs that you put yourself into. What you put in is what you're going to get out. It's a reflection of myself as well. I'm not perfect. None of us are perfect. We're all going to make mistakes in our lives. We just need to recognize it. I'm recognizing it, particularly as a father. Right now, I want to be more of a monkey doer than a monkey sayer, and and that's the way I want to do it and everything. Just want to say, hey, and I tell my kids all the time, your choices, your choice, your choice. Make the right choices. If you want good stuff, make good choices. Bad choices lead to bad consequences. Good choices will lead to better consequences. It's all up to the choices you make. Even God tells. That's why He put us in this earth. Make a choice. This is you got one time. This is all you got. You don't know when you're gonna go, and like my uncle and everything. Right now, you only got one chance. This is your window of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
After that, even if you're a non-believer, you don't know it's gonna be all empty after that. So you're gonna want to make a better life, or just an empty life. It's your choice. It's about the choices you make.
Yeah.
Choices. I love it. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, choices. I mean, wow. That's solid. That is solid. We only have control over so much. And man, life is short. Tomorrow's not promised. Make the right decisions today.
No. I realized it and had a chance to go over and be with my parents this weekend and all that stuff and spend it. And those we sat down all my brother, my sister, my parents, we sat there and like we got to appreciate ourselves. This is it.
Yeah.
We just never know. I got my grandma 98 years old in Venezuela. I cannot go see her. I cannot go see her.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that? Why? Because of the decisions that a population decided to do to follow a venue that caused the depreciation of their country. What choices are we going to make as a country? Because it's our children. It's the future. Don't look for the instant gratification. Look for the vision 20 to 10, 20, 30 years from now.
Wow.
It's good stuff. All right. Well, yeah, I appreciate that. That's an inspiring message, Jacob. I just want to go ahead and reiterate this. Thank you so much to you for coming on with us.
The opportunity, and I pray that it goes in there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this has been Jacob from Jack and Mac Photography and My Financial Compass. And so thanks again. With that, I'll pass over to my dad to close it out for this episode of Convos with Heroes.
And we have had an incredible time talking to Jacob. Man, you talk about a great American hero with an incredible story, immigrant coming to the United States from Venezuela. And man,
I was born here, but I was born in Philly.
Born in Philly, went back to Venezuela, but came back. I got that. But still, man, it's a story of an American hero, right? Because we all come from somewhere. And so I wanted to tell y'all that it's so great to have a retired Navy vet and American hero. And it's Ranger Johnson telling you to stay in the fight.